Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Allegheny Outdoor Videos. Tonight we're going to show you how to tie a quill-bodied blue wing olive. I prefer quill bodies probably over all other dry fly bodies. They're really fun to tie and they look really cool. I don't know if you can see that right there. Okay, and we'll get a close-up picture for you. So first off, we can go over some of the materials, and we will post a material list for you. A little recipe at the end of the video. Put this back in my vise. So to start off with, we're using a size 18 TMCO hook. Now, this particular hook is a nymph hook, wet fly hook, but I think it ties really well for a lot of different dry flies. So the model is a TMC 3761. Okay. For our body, of course, we have quills, if I can find them. I guess I misplaced them, but I do have a couple staged here. Now, let me show you what they'll look like. And okay, it's just a little dyed quill. What I did do is, prior to starting my cameras and everything, I soaked those quills in warm water. That helps them to be a little bit more pliable and helps them not to crack when you tie them into your fly. Our tails are going to be mayfly tails, watershed, okay, right there. And these are just a light dun. And then, of course, a hackle. I selected a feather off this half cape here, quarter cape, whatever it is, half cape. And once we get on the vise, I'll show you how to go ahead and select a correct hackle for your dry fly hook. Our thread is a 6/0 light olive. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, guys, let's get started. As always, we begin by getting some thread wrapped onto our hook. Okay. Now I'm going to select a couple of tails. Now, when we're putting tails on a dry fly, it's very important to measure the distance of our tails, length of our tails, by the hook. So what I'm going to do is I want the length of my tail to be from right behind the hook eye to right to where the bend of the hook begins. Okay, so if you can see, right about there is good. So I'm going to switch hands and tie that in. A soft loop, straighten everything out, and go ahead with my thread wraps. Now we're going to take a quill that we've soaked. As you can see here, there's a thicker end, okay? And then it tapers down to a much thinner end. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut right about there, because that's about as thin as we want it to be at the back, and we're going to tie in our quill to make the body of our blue wing olive. Now you'll notice I have a nice straight platform of thread built up to accept the quill body. And now we're just going to, sorry, I hit the camera there. We're just going to go ahead and start wrapping our quill body around the fly. We want to make sure that we have nice tight wraps, because this is what's going to distinguish this fly from, let's say, one that's just simply has a body made of dubbing. Okay, and nice thing about quills is the way they taper gives the body a natural taper. Okay, so take your time with this step. And we'll stop right about there. And we're going to go ahead and secure that quill body with a few thread wraps. Okay, now that that's secured, we'll go ahead and clip off the excess. So now you see we have that small tag end. We can't really begin securing our hackle to it yet, so we need to make a kind of a platform. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that and build up again a nice solid base to wrap my hackle. And we'll stop about there. Now I've selected a hackle from a half cape that I have, and you'll notice, for those of you new to tying dry flies, you'll have an end that has like soft hackle on it, and then it'll taper to longer barbs. Okay? What we want to do is we want to strip back, okay, some of those longer barbs. And I'm going to cut this feather right about there. And I'm going to remove those end barbs. Now, what I've done to select this particular piece of hackle is I've measured it against the hook. And you can see, I hope you can see, as I bend it, okay, those barbs will open up to just below the barb of the hook. Okay, so that'll be your selection method for the appropriate sized hackle. Because if you get too big a hackle, the fly will land face down, and that's not what we want. So when you look at any type of hackle for dry flies, what I do is I make sure that concaved edge is facing in towards my fly when I secure it to the hook. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap back, and I'm going to wrap forward again. Okay, now I'm going to begin the important step of winding my hackle. There's a number of ways to do this. A lot of guys use hackle pliers. Great tool if you like them. I'm not a big fan. So I just slowly, methodically wrap forward. Okay, I'm going to pull out a little bit of thread, and I'm going to secure that. You're going to notice you're going to have some errant hackles in there. Okay, that's okay. We'll trim them off later. Okay, but you want to make sure your feather is secured there properly. Now we're just going to snip this little leftover piece. There we go. Set that aside because we could use that on another fly. I'm going to draw the hackle that I just put on there back a little bit. I'm going to begin winding back towards that hackle with my thread. Okay? So you can see right there. Now we have a little bit of messiness here. We'll clean that up later. Now, it's time to whip finish. Turn that fly back so you can see it. Okay, so we'll get rid of this thread. Now we're going to clean up our fly a little bit. I'm going to trim these errant hackles, okay, the ones that make it look messy. There you have it, guys. Little quill-bodied, blue wing olive. These flies fish awesome. They're fun to tie. They look really good, and they float really, really well. This is a simple pattern. Okay, we didn't tie any wings, but you can go ahead and add hackle-tipped wings or CDC wings if you get to that point. But just because you're not ready to tie wings in onto a fly doesn't mean you can't tie a quill-bodied dry fly. So I hope you enjoyed it. there you have it, guys. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little something. Like I said earlier, this is one of my favorite dry flies. I love tying quill bodies. I love fishing quill bodies. If there is one drawback, it's that they're not as durable, and you'll see what I mean when you use your forceps or even just sometimes your fingers to get the fly out of the fish's mouth. A lot of times that quill body will become unraveled off your hook. But that's just kind of one of the things you have to deal with fishing a body of a fly that's as delicate as a quill body. If you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Allegheny Outdoor Videos. Thanks for watching.